Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Straight Facts Commentary where I give you my unpopular opinions in everything pop culture. So please stick around and subscribe for more. Hey y'all, I am back again with another video. And in today's video, you see the title. Beyonce just dropped her album. She just dropped her album. Yeehaw, okay? Yeehaw. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to give my review of this album. So let me explain how I do album reviews typically. This is not a track by track. There are a lot of tracks on this damn album, that's for one. For two, I'm not really a track by track girly. So for me, I'm going to be talking about the tracks that I did like, the tracks that I didn't like, and the overall feel or perception that I have of this album. Also, just to pre-warn, this is going to be probably a little bit of a longer video than what I typically make. So I don't know, go ahead and get like a blanket or something, a pillow. I don't know, get comfortable. But anyway, before I get into the tracks, I just want to say I wasn't in too much anticipation for this album because I don't really listen to country. So when she announced that it was going to be a country album, I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to like this in general, but I'm going to try to be as objective as possible when giving some of my opinions. Not always trying to look at the fact that I don't really care for country music, but also trying to find the things about the song that are good, irregardless of the fact that I don't care for country music. Also, I do remember Beyonce stating when this album was about to drop that this isn't a country album, this is a Beyonce album. And that I have to 100% agree with because this album didn't feel like a country album in what you would consider a traditional style country album. It's definitely not. It's a country album, but it's a Beyonce version of a country album. It's Beyonce's approach to a country album in her own unique way at the same time. Just like how she did with Renaissance, basically. Renaissance is a house album, but it's not a traditional house album. It's Beyonce's version of a house album. So, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna get into a couple of the tracks here and talk a little bit about them, the ones that I felt worth mentioning. So, 16 Carriages, of course, that song already came out before the album. I really loved that song, and I think I already did a review on it actually when it came out. I did express that, and I love the vulnerability of this record. It's homely, it's comforting, it's comfy. It feels like sitting on a porch in a rocking chair. Out in the country watching like a ball of hay roll by. It definitely has that essence and it's definitely replayable for me. It was a perfect single, I feel like, to lead up to this album, as well as Texas Hold'em. So I'm not really going to touch too much on those because we already know about those. I liked 16 Carriages and Texas Hold'em, so it made me feel like, oh, okay, I'll probably be into this album. The next song I wanted to highlight as a mention is the song Protector. I thought the song was very sweet. It was so sweet with it being about a message for her children. She painted it very well. The relationship between her and her family and how she views them. However, I will say it's one of my least favorites sonically. That's just my personal preference. Like the sonics of it, the sound of it is not really my favorite, but the message of the song and what it's talking about is the standout for me for that one. The next song to mention was Bodyguard. Oh my gosh, I loved Bodyguard so much. Like I really enjoyed it. It was so flirty and fun and bouncy, like, but yet still chill at the same time. I don't know. I feel like the best way to describe it is it sounds like a conversation. Like it sounds like Beyonce is kind of just talking to us casually, but like in a good way, if that makes sense. It's one of the most cozy tracks to me. It's like it has this good warm feeling. It has like this I'm sitting in a bar kind of like throwing back a couple of shots of like whiskey, like cheap whiskey feel like, but in a really good way. Like she has a really good way of encapsulating feelings or moods into songs. So, yes, Bodyguard is it's a good one. So, the next song I wanted to highlight was oh, Jolene. Beyonce's sassier new take on Jolene was really cool because like I knew as I was listening to it that it didn't sound like the original, like exactly like I was like something sounds off about this. So I was like, wait, what's going on here? So I had to go look up the lyrics too and like really get into it and I was like, "Oh, Because I was like, there's no way she said that in the original. Like Dolly Parton, there's no way she said that in the original. I was just thinking, like, what in the hell? And when she said, I raised that man and his kids, I was like, oops. I was like, okay, talk to us then. Damn. And then she said, what she said, bitch, don't try me. And then she was just like, I'm a Creole banji bitch from Louisiana. I was like, I was like, oh B. Oh B. Wow, you really ate that. You really ate that up. You know what I'm saying? I can see Jolene, like her rendition of Jolene being like a bigger song off the album, like a real chart topper. You know what I'm saying? Just off the fact that it's ballsy as hell. It's real ballsy. Like what she's saying in the song is very like, I'm a sucker punch you. You know what I'm saying? So that's real interesting. The next song I want to talk about, I'm excited. I love this song. Spaghetti. 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 That's like one of my top 3. Spaghetti is a hit. And look, I'm a little partial with this one. And I think I like this song better personally because it's like trap inspired and I lean towards trap beats, rap, I lean towards pop, I lean towards those types of things. So for me, this is more of a favorite. So like for example, if you're more into country, like country, then this song wouldn't be like your favorite out of the bunch because it's a completely different sonic than the rest of the album in terms of like the overall. So, for our trap girls who are more into trap than country, there are songs for that. And Spaghetti is one of them. Then we have like the 16 carriages of the world for the girls who are more into the country. So I do appreciate that she had that versatile element to where you're going to get a couple of different flavors and not one sound the entire album because that would have bored me to bits. And me personally, I never really care for when Beyonce raps. Like I'm not like a fan of like the Beyonce rapper. I'm really not, but this song was actually good. It had me bouncing, bitch. Really did. So anyway, let's move on. So the next song that I want to mention that I just didn't care for at all was Alligator Tears. To me, the overall like composition and production of it just felt awkward and kind of all over the place, and it was a little too slow for me personally. Like it felt like it was dragging, and I didn't really care for the composition of it or how it just didn't sound like the way it sounded. The way it sounded just didn't sound that interesting to me. Yeah, it's kind of passable. Oh my god. Most Wanted. My dog is sitting here looking at me like, are you crazy or what? Like, what's going on? Most Wanted. I was very surprised to see that Miley Cyrus was on this album. A lot of people thought that Taylor Swift was going to be on the album. Girl, when I heard that rumor, I was just like, are y'all for real? Knowing that Beyonce is pretty much in direct competition with Taylor, not trying to go there, but she is like, you know what I mean? She's gonna wanna like get a whole bunch of, why would she wanna bring Taylor on when Taylor monopolizes all the awards that Beyonce is trying to get? You know what I'm saying? And that not to say they don't respect each other, they're not peers, but no. That doesn't, to me, I don't think Beyonce is trying to work with Taylor Swift. Come on. Like, no. I just don't see that. Not to say, like I said, I'm sure they're cool. I'm sure they're cool, but just competition wise, healthy competition wise, I feel like people would drag her. And I feel like the Swifties would have a ball with that. They'd be like, oh, really? You put Taylor on the album? You need Taylor Swift? I feel like that kind of narrative would be played because Taylor is country and then Beyonce is taking Taylor and putting her on a country album. I feel like Swifties would have a ball, have a field day with that. But anyway, I was so surprised. Definitely a fan favorite online I saw of this one. Amazing. The harmonies between Miley and Beyonce on this album. Ooh, chef's kiss. The song in its entirety was just easy on the ears. My favorite part, like instrumentally, was the banjo. Ooh, yes. I can just see this being a huge Billboard hit. Miley Cyrus's voice is so rustic and soulful. She kept up very nicely with Beyonce. It didn't seem like she was falling behind in comparison to her or anything. It just had a lot of body and depth to it, Miley's voice. And it was great. It was great. Okay, next honorable mention was Flamencio. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but the vocal run at the end of Flamencio was something serious. Like, I just wanted to highlight that because all in all, I didn't really care for the song, like how it sounded. The message was cool. I didn't really care for the song or how it sounded though, but that vocal run was everything at the end. It was so beautiful, it was angelic, and I feel like if anything, that might bring me back to the song itself, like after a few more listens, just to hear the vocal run at the end of that. So if you haven't heard that, or you're like, I don't remember the vocal, go back and listen. Go back and listen to it. Another honorable mention is Yaya. Oh my goodness. Yaya was really fun. It was like a shuck and jive type of song. I really like a back road, backwood. It was given that. It was really fun. I appreciated it a lot. There was a lot of soul in this one, like in Beyonce's voice, in the instrumentation, the composition, like the whole thing of it was just given soul, really dancey, really fun, vibrant, energetic, pulling. It was great. Really like that. If you're trying to dance, trying to boogie, trying to two-step, child, that is the one for you. As you guys can tell, I like the songs the most with like the most oomph to them. So that's why I was just like anticipating I wasn't gonna care for this album that much, because it was, if the album consisted of majority slow burns, then I wouldn't really be tuned in. And I think that Beyonce knew that there was gonna be people who we're not gonna want to sit through the whole country album and it just be a complete snooze fest. You know what I'm saying? I think she knew that. I think she knew that going in, and I think she was like, okay, I'm gonna give some, shuck and jive. I'm gonna give some trap ambiance. I'm gonna give some country, slow contemporary. I think it was well embodied. Another one of my faves. Y'all know what I'm gonna say. Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Well, no, you don't. You're not in my head. How would you know? But you know where I'm going with this. Riverdance. Riverdance. Do I even have to say anything? Do I even have to say why? Like, just going through this review so far and like my favorite songs off of the project. Do I even really have to say why that was one of my favorite? Pounce on the shit dance. Bounce on the shit dance. Bounce on the shit no hands. Ooh, she had me living for that. Ooh, she had me living for that. I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. I wanted to get out of bed and twerk, but it was late. It was late, and I was just trying to listen to the album. I was just trying to listen. I listened to it again earlier today too. Once over to get another impression. But yeah, she had me wanting to get out of my bed and start rolling around on the floor. Because that one just I like the spunk, I like the oomph, I like energy. I like to move. I like to move. So yeah, that was a good one. That was a great one. Tyrant, again, honorable mention for me. More my speed. I love the trap inspired sound. But it also did have a little country element in there sonically too. It was like a nice little mix of the two. Love that. Again, not really no need to mention why. I loved it. I love the immense amount of storytelling on this album. I love the immense amount of expression and just her pouring her heart out. Much similarly how she did on Renaissance, but Renaissance is a little bit more fun. This album is has a little bit more serious tone. And finally, Amen. Okay. Amen was the last track on the album. Definitely a perfect closer. It sounds like a closer song. It sounds like a song to settle down and settle into the album. The feel of it, just yeah, it was good. Yeah. So I'm going to be speaking about just my overall feel of the album itself, just different things of like closing thoughts. This album was definitely a solid body of work. It's nothing less than a solid body of work. I can't deny that, irregardless of me not caring for country that much. There are a lot of just amazing different little things about this album, just the sound of it, the sonics, the vocals. There's just so many things that you can't deny sound good about this album. Is this my favorite Beyonce album? Absolutely not. It's just not. It's just not my overall vibe. It's not something that I would listen to on a regular basis. Does it make it bad? No. But is it really for me all in all? No. I will say I liked Renaissance way better, and some beehive are probably gonna excuse me, Some beehive are probably going to eat me up. I don't care because I make reviews because I like music. I don't make reviews because I'm trying to appease any stan base. But yeah, I liked Renaissance way better. Renaissance isn't even my favorite project by Beyonce, but I'll just say that this album made me appreciate Renaissance even more. Because I just like the sound of Renaissance better. And I think it's just because I'm more inclined to pop, and Renaissance was like house popish, and that's just more my thing. You know what I am excited for though, and anticipated about, if this is true, the next act, which is supposed to be a rock album. I love rock. I love contemporary rock. I like punk rock. I like scream. I like metal. I grew up listening to rock music. So if Beyonce does a rock album, I might be extremely biased when it comes to reviewing that album because I love rock. But even still, I'm going to try to be objective about it regardless if I like the genre or not. But I'm looking forward to that because that is more of a sound that I like. But either way, that doesn't make this album bad just because I don't care for country. So, keep that in mind. Crazy stance. I will say the first half of the album was kind of slow for me, and then it started picking up towards the second half, which is really where more of the upbeat songs were. So that makes sense. Renaissance just kept my attention the entire way through I was listening. This album, I found myself drifting a little bit in the middle until about the halfway point. So yeah, I do appreciate the leap into the new genre. I appreciate the experimenting and the exploration. I appreciate that this album was essentially like a response to her being casted aside when she explored country in the past and her treatment at the Country Music Awards, as well as country being a really popular genre right now, and her taking back country music for Black people because we created country music. So, taking it back and saying, hey, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna do my spin on it. I'm gonna give, my take on it. So I appreciate all of what it stands for. I appreciate a lot of things about it. It's just not my particular taste all in all. Except for the trap country. I will say though, even though I didn't care for this project in its entirety, like 100%, I do love a lot of the sonics, her vocal performances, and some of the features. So the next kind of thing I wanted to talk about too was what the general public will think about this album. Well, I know a lot of fans, I've been seeing online just the reception of this album so far from people. And of course, like most Beyonce fans like the album and like stans love the album and stuff. So I'm seeing a lot of positive reaction. But I'm not sure of what the general public, like outside of Beehive and things like that, um, reaction will be to the album. I feel like it's kind of hard to tell right now. I guess we'll see over time if everyone loves this album or if it's just like to everyone else outside of the fan base. It's definitely an acquired taste, so I don't think that everyone is gonna love this album. Like for example, if you don't like country, you're probably not gonna like this album. If you don't like trap and rap, then you're probably not gonna like this album. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this album kind of can cut out a good amount of people just based on those facts. Like redneck country people, I don't feel like are gonna have an appreciation for this album like that. Like people who are, people who are funny acting, like funny acting people. I don't think they are gonna, like racist people. I don't think they're gonna like this album. You know what I mean? Now, what songs are gonna be like the next hits from Billboard? Because obviously we had like Texas Hold'em, that lasted the longest on Billboard for Beyonce for this album. What was the other one called? 16 Carriages. It charted, I believe, but it didn't last like on the charts super long. It was the Texas Hold'em. So Beyonce obviously recognized that that was one of the most commercial. Ooh, can I speak? The hell, commercial songs on the album. So I'm trying to think like what other ones would be like that more commercial, stay on the top 10s and 20s of the Billboard Hot 100 type of record. Um, Maybe Spaghetti, maybe Riverdance. Definitely Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus because yeah, definitely. I'm thinking the more upbeat ones are definitely going to be the ones that like chart super high. But then again, no, because we have country music on charts right now, and that has been trending. That hasn't been super upbeat. So honestly, no. I guess it could go either way. It could be like an upbeat song that ends up like being the big chart topper. It could be like a more slowed down one. So yeah, I guess it could go either way. But you guys let me know. What do you guys think the big Billboard chart topper singles from this album will be? Also let me know. Did you like the album? Did you not? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fine if you did. It's fine if you didn't. It's fine if you want to cuss me out below too. You know, that's cool. I don't really care. But of course, we can talk about all of your thoughts down below. And that's it for this one, guys. Talk to you in the next one. Bye.